So I was trying to choose a thumbnail and bump the button. Anyway, so welcome to, fitting. Welcome to a very soggy day here at Universal Orlando and my 15-year anniversary on YouTube. 15 years ago today, I started a YouTube account. Not a Google account, a YouTube account, because it was the next year that Google actually bought YouTube. So it wasn't, I didn't have a YouTube account or Google account until, well, probably a little bit less than a year after I started the YouTube channel. And then at some point, Google mandated that you connect your Google account with YouTube account. Now it's just all the same thing, of course. I had a nice custom thumbnail for this stream, but it wasn't showing up in the photo app or in the photos, even though, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Sean. I airdropped it to my phone earlier and I could see it in the Photos app, but not in YouTube, of course. So, it's been a couple days since we've been walking around here, and there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. And let's start here in New York. Of course, we saw a lot of development here on this stage. Luckily, there's nobody on it right now. Guests. And it looked like it was going to be pretty much finished, but no. All these little areas now have been further dressed with these gray columns. I think I'm going to cut the first few seconds out of this stream when it goes live. When it fully is processed and I get my usual content ID claims. This over here, this truck, pretty sure it's the same truck that's been in a lot of different scare zones. But it does look different. It might be different. But it's this short, stubby little truck. It looks ridiculous. This year it's for, enter final name here, Scare Zone. Now, this is rumored to be Seek and Destroy, thanks to our friends at Halloween Horror Nightmares. And as always, if you haven't been following Halloween Horror Nightmares, oh hey Frank, if you haven't been following Halloween Horror Nightmares on Facebook, if you want to do that, because Facebook, or Twitter, and of course you can go to the website, and they have an awesome Spotify list of the year's songs. More recently, it breaks it up like per house and per scare zone. I don't know. I mean, we already know that Puppet Theater Captive Audience is going to be announced. It was announced last year. It's kind of weird that they don't announce that one. So this, as you can see, is also newer. It's also been updated. Has more decorations, the gray to cover up the pipes of the scaffolding to make it look cooler. And now it's got this awesome bag over here. This bag, I think, is hiding a fog machine, or maybe some speakers, or maybe a body. You know, we'll have to see. But that is the most terrifying prop in the whole scare zone. Over here, it looks like they still need to do some more work. I expect to see the same kind of exterior, which is fortunately probably some sort of form of styrofoam. Oh, I haven't seen the Haunting of Hill House, but I did see like a summary video of the whole thing just to get an idea. So I say this is probably foam, which is unfortunate because, you know, guests, they're gonna punch holes in it and make it, because because people suck. But this is some very interesting, I don't know if you call it camo, but it's the same type of material, but red and black, which is interesting. I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I'm just guessing. It is pretty solid. So maybe it isn't. Maybe it's it could be. You know, I think it might be plywood. It just looked like it was foam. Because if it was foam, it would have been destroyed. So that's good. I mean, they shouldn't have to, but people will do it. And I like how this base looks. It's pretty cool. Of course, when I say we saw Beetlejuice, some people saw it in person. I was not one of those people. I hunting in Hill House, but we don't know. But like these are the houses that we know of as far as most of those people have been in. Don't really see anything new here. I haven't seen that, but I did see House on Haunted Hill, which I believe was a remake, and the sequel. So because of that, I'd rather see House on Haunted Hill because, you know, I've seen the movies. But I understand it's more popular right now. Look at this twisted mess they made here. Of course, the lights up here for decorative purposes, and the lights up here for whatever scare zone this is going to be, as it is rumored to be another scare zone again. Don't want to talk too much about speculation because just got to be careful about that stuff. Universal doesn't like that, from what I understand. I'm not sure if we're going to see much more developed over here, but we'll see. I'm back again tomorrow in the park. I don't know if I'm not necessarily streaming, but and there's a gear shop for Fast and Furious. I just finished shooting some video for that. My video from my first time going through back when the attraction first opened is one of the highest viewed videos on my channel, and it has one of the highest numbers of new subscribers. So I'm like, well, I better go do another one. I just went there because I'm like, yeah, I might as well make a video. It probably won't get that many views, but the thing is, very few people have made a video in that shop. So I win just because of lack of options, which is always what you want to do, but it's really hard to do, especially in a theme park, to find something that people are looking for, but very few people have made a video for. But I managed to do that. Now we're gonna see some lights up here, some ERS. Oh, hey Bodie. I was reading Day and Day and talking and looking at the same time, and that just all crashed together at one point. So sorry about that. Let's try it again. Hey, Boydie. So I was saying is that pretty soon we're going to see some lights over here. Probably just traditional ERS, just to light up the ground with some gobos and some gels. But I'm sure I've said this too many times, but at one point they had them lighting up the buildings here in London Waterfront, which it's the London waterfront. So obviously J.K. Rowling's and Warner Brothers didn't create these buildings, but because it's here as a part of Wizarding World of Harry Potter, they freaked out, so they won't do that again. They were talking about some of the Australian athletes when I was getting ready. They were talking about them in the Olympics, whatever. I mean the Olympics in general. Regardless of what country, I don't really care. So in about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, it's actually a Thursday, is going to be the 5th anniversary of this channel. So I'm trying to get some anniversary merchandise put together. Probably way too long, it'll be too late, but the way my merchandise sells, I don't know if it's really gonna matter. But over here, I was watching, I think it was Theme Park Express, and they were, oh, this is open again. If you remember last time, the ropes were up, but people were sitting in there anyway. Well, these ropes are down. Obviously, you still aren't supposed to go into the theater, so we're not going to do that. But they were apparently testing the speakers. He didn't get very close, but it sounded like basically the white noise that they use to test speakers to make sure that they're getting a signal, and they just they go from speaker to speaker to make sure that all the connections are good, all the cables are good. It's standard. Every time some audio system is set up, they do that. So once again, you can see here we are in a guest area because there's some guests. You can see the lights, and well, they're speakers. You can't really see them very well from here. Back that way is very scary. I mean, obviously we know about that one because everyone knows about that one. Speaking of the houses that we know about, what's in it, that we don't know so much. But we will in not too long from now. Let's see, I'm gonna go look at my countdown app. Looks like first day of Halloween Horror Nights is in 38 days. Which is why it's so amazing that they've put so much into the park already. And things are so far along. Because again, this usually isn't this well filled up with what look like pretty much the final details of some of the scare zones. The scare zone in New York looks like it might be good to go like next week. I mean, it's not going to be, but it looks like it'd be ready. So again, I mean, it might just be to build up hype, just put the scare zones in early and get people excited because it's working. I'm excited. And I think you guys are excited too, so I don't know. I mean, I can only speculate. The other thing is that there's not a lot of work that needs to be put in the houses because they're done. So it could be that too. Excuse me as I navigate through heavy crowds. Slow moving people. The worst is when people are walking really, really slowly and they fan out so they block everybody else. All right, so up here, Simpsons area. I'm gonna try not to get stuck in the parade again, but I'm getting kind of close to the parade time, but I didn't want to sit around for another half hour. So I'm like, all right. It was sprinkling earlier, it's not now. I was thinking maybe the parade would be canceled, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't help when people stand in the middle of oh, that was great. So, as we slowly make our way through here. Yep, so we're now seeing that as of today, no lighting in Springfield. So that, I'm sure, is coming soon. Also, in the future, watching one of these streams from the park, don't worry about skipping the ads when it goes live, because I'm going to lose the revenue anyway to people who claim Content ID, which is very, very frustrating. It's not until after it processes and I remove all the parts that I have to, that I actually can keep the money, which is, anyway. So over here, I'm not seeing any development on top of SpongeBob SquarePants. They still have the truss, but nothing. Although, I think it was 2019, there was truss on top of the brown derby hat shop. Looked like it was for Halloween Horror Nights. and then they never used it. So I don't know what was up with that. So here we are again, and probably should have walked the, oh well. I probably should have walked the Superstore route first. That would have been smart. But it was still sprinkling. I thought the parade would be canceled. It looks like it won't be. But here are some of the, again, the scare zone. I'm not seeing anything new since the last time. But one thing's for sure is they won't be on roller skates and they won't be on stilts for the parade because the road is very wet. But I think we'll make it through. I hope. Pretty soon they'll be doing the announcements. There they are again up there. A strobe light in each end, which is cool. Oh, they have the projectors on for the nighttime show. I just looked right at it and now I can't see. Because the projectors are very bright. No, I literally haven't been paying attention to anything with the Olympics. I just happened to be kind of hearing the commentary as I was setting up my gimbal. But I guarantee you cool stuff in production. Something I haven't seen in at least 10 years, if I remember correctly. Something I thought we would never see again. So, for Horror Nights, I guess we don't have to worry about a parade. I thought it was weird that we didn't have the ropes up. All right, well, I guess obviously no parade. I don't know what's going on over there, but that's where the parade usually steps off, and there's barricades, so. Again, I'm not sure if we'll see any more development in this area in Hollywood because sometimes they bring all the props out every night. But we'll keep watching. I'll keep watching it, bringing you anything I see. So I did I did go in and try the rib witch. Not really that great. It's as it is usually with quick serve restaurants or fast food restaurants. The picture looks better than the actual product. It looks more like their McRib, which is like a flat sort of rib shape with like real barbecue sauce on it. Instead, it's just a collection of little bits of ribs and a runny, kind of oily, greasy, somewhat pseudo barbecue sauce. So, yeah. I like to have thick barbecue sauce. I guess that's just me. I don't like runny barbecue sauce. So, not one of my recommendations. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. Well, it stopped raining, so that's helping my day. I actually just had a Zoom meeting earlier today about some of my channels, or one of my channels, with the owner of a website called customthumbnails.com, and for free. He just sat with me and talked about thumbnails and strategy for my Accelerated channel, so that was awesome. And I think I'm going to be hanging out with someone cool tomorrow. We'll find out if I'm sure it'll happen. So again, here is the Hollywood area. This last scare zone to be here was Vanity Ball, which was awesome. And we'll see what happens this year. Brown Derby still closed. Huh. Actually, oddly, these lights are still pointing up in the sky, which I thought they would have fixed by now, because every time it rains directly into the light fixture. So I don't think it'll destroy them, but it also can't be that good for them. Oh, also, these are back. This is a little stump earlier as they were working on them, refurbishing them, and they actually finally work fully for the first time in I don't know how many years. But you might think that these are very similar to the ones you find at now called Hollywood Studios, and yes, long story behind that, won't give you the whole story, but basically Universal pitched the idea of this park to the head of Paramount, which was at the time the future head of Disney, which is Michael Eisner. He took all the ideas, brought them to Disney, and Disney, because they have Disney money, built their park first. And that's why these two parks look very similar. And this park actually could have Star Wars in it if a long time ago Universal had worked with George Lucas as he was trying to figure out his whole space thing, as he wasn't sure. This happened after American Graffiti. Now, obviously, back there in Hollywood, you can see the diner from American Graffiti. If you don't know that, I didn't know that for a long time. That's what it's from. Also a George Lucas film. And his next thing was Star Wars. And he asked Universal to help him develop Star Wars. And Universal said, well, you go work on that. And when you figure out what you're doing, come back to us and let us know. And he didn't really like that response. And he's held a grudge against Universal ever since then. And that's why he went to Disney. And here is actually yesterday, but I didn't come in yesterday, is a whole truss area. This is very similar to a stage. It's not a stage, but what they have over the stage. Hopefully we won't have a hurricane that'll come in and destroy it like it did for Irma. But this is the first time I've seen truss over the road in a scare zone, I think since 2010. So that's awesome. I thought they would never do this again. Obviously, it's high enough to not get hit by the parade floats. But it's like a mini stage area that we saw for the Carnage Returns. But again, obviously there won't be a stage because there's a road underneath, but same idea. And as you can see, there's a smaller truss over here. And I don't know if you can see it from here, there's one on the opposite side, most likely for lighting effects. Now, it'd be really cool if they had somebody on top of this in a stage like they did back for Fright Nights, which I don't believe they've done ever since, but over the audience. I kind of did that a little bit for Vanity Ball, but it was on top of a float, or a trailer, I guess, so it doesn't really count, but that would be amazing, but I don't really think that's going to be the case. We'll see. Again, this is rumored to be the anniversary zone, which is a very small zone to put that in, but we'll see. Huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this time we are unable to perform the Superstar Parade. We apologize for any inconvenience and hope you enjoy the rest of your evening at Universal Studios Florida.
Well, we saw why that is. Now, here's something I saw in a photo, and it's very strange. I'm really unsure why, and unclear why. This is typically an area like this, as you see back there, is typically covered by a scrim. I don't know why this is left open, because you can see that a guest, hopefully they won't, but a guest could climb up this. Usually they don't leave this open like that. I'm really wondering why they have. And a lot of times they'll put like a pool noodle or hang something off of here to make this more visible. Again, I'm really surprised to see this left in this condition. And this was new as of yesterday. So I don't know what's going on with that. But as you can see, they have cables crossing for strength. Up there you see some cables. Those are just for the lift motors, those are not for lighting. That'll come later. And if you probably figured out the chain motor, I should say, that's what those things up there are. They use those cables to connect to the very powerful motors, and of course move the chains, which moves that whole truss you're seeing over the road. I'm not a rigger, but I've worked with them a lot. See, this whole outer frame is on those chain motors, and it was assembled on the ground. You can see the wheels, and then lifted up in place. Then that truss in the middle, or at some point, possibly before, was placed on top for extra strength, and I'm sure for hanging lighting instruments and possibly theming. So that's all I see for today, but that's pretty awesome. Again, coming along very quickly. And don't forget, we also have our Cabana Bay experience, which this year does not require you to stay at Cabana Bay. You do have to stay at one of the hotels on site, but it does not have to be Cabana Bay. And of course, all of the hotels are open now. So even Endless Summer Resort, which is not what I would consider an on-site hotel, I believe does count towards being able to go and experience. I believe it's a Beetlejuice. I forgot. It's been too long since the announcement already. But over here is what is going to be called or is called every year, the Stay and Scream area. So if you have a daytime ticket to the parks, whether it's a single park and you come to Universal Studios, a dual park, or all three, or an annual pass, however you get into the park, if you're already in the park the day of Halloween Horror Nights, and remember, the park opens an hour earlier, EPA starts an hour earlier, and the park closes at 5 o'clock to day guests. What you can do is, I forget exactly when it opens, but this area and most of New York City, New York in Universal obviously, most of New York is going to be barricaded off. And this is, again, the Stay and Scream area, where if you're in the park, you can come into this area. There's also one in Springfield, and wait here. And you'll scan your Halloween Horror Nights ticket. Obviously, you have to have a Halloween Horror Nights ticket as well. And usually you'll have a barricade line right in the middle here, and line up people here and here, and it'll just kind of back up around the way, especially this year with people being so excited to be here. And then there'll be barricades up front. When the time comes, usually it's maybe 15 or more minutes, I forget exact timing. When the houses are ready, one line will be released, and then the other line, and you will be able to go to the attractions and get in line before the gates up front open to everybody else. So two good things about that. One is you don't have to exit the park and come back, which is what Brian and I used to think a long time ago. Two, there are certain houses which you can go to before anybody else can. Now they used to have, and I don't know why they stopped this, they used to have something for annual pass holders where you can get the first few weekends, I think you can get like up to an hour in the park before the house is open. I think that maybe Stay and Scream replaced that. I'm not really sure. But my opinion is to go to the back, to Springfield, because people, when they come into the park, don't generally go to the back. They go to the first houses they see, or the big IP names. Those are usually up front over here, which is again released in the New York area. People will later make their way over to those houses. So my opinion, go to the Stay and Scream area. Works basically the same as I explained it here, except it's in Springfield. Go to the houses back there when there's no wait time or very, very, very little wait time, and you'll think, oh well, but I want to come over to these houses over here because these are the big IP houses. They're going to have the longest waits. Yes, but they're going to have long waits all night long. If you go to these first, you're going to wait in a long line. Then you'll be one of the people who walk back towards here. By the time you get back there, you'll also have a long line back there. So, my opinion, go to those houses when the lines are short, and you'll have more time to come over and wait in longer lines over here. But that's just my thoughts as someone who's attended, oh my gosh, this is the 11th, I think at least the 11th Halloween Horror Nights for me, because it's, they first came in 99, 10, yeah, 11. Oh, hey, Brandy. Good point. Thanks, Brandy. So yeah, that's 11 years of Halloween Horror Nights. 12 if you count last year. I know it's a little anti-intuitive at first, but it works. And of course, if you can afford it, buy Express. Now, I certainly didn't say the after 10 or after 11 the Express is sometimes oversold, which kind of undermines its purpose. I don't know who said that, but I didn't say that. But if you're going to get Express for the whole night. And eventually, hopefully, they're going to release the multi-night passes with Express. Those are definitely the one to go for if you're coming for more than maybe 2 nights. Because just like the annual pass, it doesn't take long buying single passes before you're spending more money at single passes. You might think, well, I'm only going to be here for 3 nights. It might already be worth it. Now, when they're going to announce the multi-night passes, I don't know. It's kind of a weird year having this level of detail in the scare zones already before I know it's very close to August, but it's not August yet. So we'll see. And I keep forgetting to look into this, but I know I heard somebody say there's not going to be a scare actor designing experience this year, which I hope that's not true, because this year, again, it seems like it will be an awesome year to have the scare actor experience. Now, judging by what I'm seeing here, oh, it is? Oh man, that's lame. No, thank you, Brandy. That's lame. This is the first year in a long time where I would want to do it. I wonder why they wouldn't do it. I mean, between Beetlejuice and Jack, that would be so amazing. There is speculation that there'll be 3 shows, 2 live shows and 1 Lagoon show, which would be awesome. So this lower part, this bottom part, which looks like a backpack. Here, my guess is, and it's not much of a stretch to be honest, but my guess is we'll see this as early as tomorrow down here. They just couldn't get to it yet, which is why I think they sort of camos here, just to my original one has done really well. So I think it's come out pretty well. But so if you're excited for Halloween Horror Nights, hit that like button. If you're excited for my next video, hit that like button. If you're not excited for anything, hit that like button. I think that covers everything. So I'm not going to drag it on and on like last time. I always hate to end it when I see like I have the most number of people watching the entire stream, but at the same time, when I run out of things to say, I've run out of things to say. So unless you have any questions or you want me to go back and look at a different area again, Springfield does not have any Halloween Horror Nights lighting right now. I expect that to change really soon. This area lighting is just to make it look cool. There's not gonna be a scare zone over here. If it were up to me, they would pull out the ride vehicles from Fast and Furious, use the screens for a house that you walk through, but that's not going to happen. There's also a lot of ADA issues because the load platform is higher, so it really wouldn't work for in reality, but it'd be a good use of that space because, you know, so would storage. But not seeing anything coming up on the chat. So, thanks for joining me on my 15-year anniversary on YouTube. And as always, I started it by screwing up. Anyway, thanks for watching this video all the way through, and please exit through the gift shop.